Knights of X, get your coffee ready because we have a lot to talk about this morning with major updates just released by Capital Games last night about the next era, and not only that, new game modes, the removal of a game mode, some sort of extra currency, and a lot going on. There's just a lot going on here that we need to talk about. What I'm going to do is when this was released, I was at the gym and I could barely finish my workout because I was going back and forth between sets trying to skim through this, but I couldn't freaking concentrate. So my chest day was a failure, but I will go back to get after it another day. But we are here for the update. So we're going to go over it together. I skimmed through it for the most part, so I know the major things. Talked to some guildmates about a couple of things they were worried about, but we're going to go over it together and discuss as a community because I'm very curious about what you guys think about this, and I'll give you guys my thoughts as I read along. So let's head over to the post that CG has released. There's 3 current posts, so we're going to talk about all of it today. And I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of a TLDR for a majority of the parts where it's just like I don't have to read the whole entire thing. So practically, this is the big community update for 4/27/2026. They are pretty much saying that they have an update packed with information from error updates, economy tuning, to loaned units, and much more. Let's kick off the rundown with our next major feature update. First thing they're talking about is Cantina 2.0. So pretty much we knew about this in the data mines. I talked about it in a previous video. The home screen is getting a major update to make it more user-friendly, a little bit easier to access for certain game modes, and consolidating things to make it just easier for us in general. So that's a major visual thing as well, that making it a little bit more pretty. So that I'm going to show you guys screenshots in the other post of what they're showing. So going over everything here, the overhaul, the home screen is getting an update. They're pretty much, like I said, adding different visual arts, lighting, table arrangement, 2D and 3D art for Cantina patrons and employees. It's kind of cool, so the characters are going to be looking a little bit more modernized. New table layout. A new table layout focuses on thematic grouping of content and simpler navigation around the Cantina, as well as ensuring the interactive zones on tables don't overlap. So that's very nice to have. Trying to make it a little bit easier to access and not overlapping different things like that. Improved UI. Every table has been fitted with a new holographic display, and many are fully functional, showing top-level information like currently active events, your score in the current GAC round, that's kind of cool, your guild's current raid score, or your territory battle progression. So that's kind of cool. You're going to see a little bit of a score above the tables to show how you are doing in those certain different events. So I kind of like that. I think a major thing to come out of this, which is really big, I was not expecting some of this stuff to come. I know there was some speculation about the map getting an overhaul or a change, but this is kind of cool, and I did not predict one of these parts. Campaign rework. All light side, dark side Cantina and mod campaigns have had a full content rework. Battles have all been reduced to 1 or 2 encounters, and campaign tiers reflect stories from the Star Wars movies, TV series, comics, and video games that you know and love. So I love that. I love that they're making it more of a Star Wars story and bringing back those cool moments from all the different types of genres of Star Wars, not even the movies, but also the games and the comics, which is great content. Updated tiers. New battles have been added to hard tiers in the light and dark side campaigns, bringing later hard tiers up to a minimum standard of 6 battles. That's pretty interesting, 6 attempts instead of 5. In addition, Cantina battles now have a brand new 9th tier with some very juicy first-time rewards. So I will show you screenshots of what the rewards are going to look like for the first time. They're pretty good. Talking Zetas and Omicrons and stuff like that. I like it a lot. Now, this is what I was not predicting, which is very nice because this makes certain farms way easier now than they were. New farmable units, taking advantage of the additional farming potential of new battles. Some units will be farmable within campaigns for the first time. Light side hard, Rebel Officer Leia Organa. Dark side hard, Imperial Probe Droid. Cantina, Wampa, Grievous, and Hermit Yoda. They are making harder characters to get way more accessible. So, Wampa, get 1 currency. Grievous, fleet currency, short shop currency. Hermit Yoda is get 1 currency. Rebel Officer Leia Organa. Unless you're using the Hoth mission in a very early Hoth TB, which not a lot of early game players might want to jump into that right away. They might want to go into a stronger guild. Now can farm her on a node. Same with Imperial Pro Droid, not nearly as important as the other ones listed, but still nice to have. You can now focus on your get currency for other things like Negotiator, Malevolence, now Signal Data, Maul. Like, there's a lot better stuff. Not like specifically Maul, that's get 3, but you guys know what I'm saying. The get 1 and get 2 can now go more towards gear and stuff like that. So this is a positive change for early and most players. I do like this a lot. They also talk about refreshed mod battles. The entire campaign is now reduced to 2 tiers. The first tier of battles will grant rewards equivalent to the top tier of each mod challenge, allowing you to farm mod battles for 5 dot mods. 1 to 4 dot mod rewards are now completely removed as rewards. Thank God. That was by far horrible. Really useless. Like, that needed to be done a while ago. Very good change. The second tier is identical to the pre-existing 9th tier, granting mod slicing materials with a reduced unlock level required. With this change, the now redundant mod challenges are being removed from the game. So, overall, better experience for farming mods and hopefully less of a headache. So, I do like that change as well. Now they're talking about other changes that they've made. The Journey Guide adjustment, they talked about how they moved all the Journey Guide recommended characters. We talked about that in the previous video. So, if you go into game, you're going to see the Journey Guide legendaries in different orders or different tiers for what they recommend you at what GP level. So that's very easy. Improved economics. Economy changes intended to ease bottlenecks for new players. Increased drop rates for training droids and MK 1 through 3 ability materials across the game. I remember when I started my free-to-play account that I was getting dangerously low on the MK2 material ability materials for characters. Like, I would have the purple, and I sometimes have Zetas or whatever. I wouldn't have the MK2. So this, again, needed to be done a long time ago. Thank God that's coming to the game. Promoting a unit's star level no longer requires credits or building materials. It only requires the unit shards themselves. We saw a little bit of a glimpse of this in-game currently. I was like, why is it cost 0 to bring my 5-star ship to 6 and my 6-star character to 7? Cost 0 now. That's overall very nice. You can now focus on spending that currency on like mods and stuff like that. So I do like that. Updated tutorial. So over here they're talking about a brand new updated beginning experience for newer players. I think that's an awesome change. So they're just pretty much talking about how the new Twi'lek Cantina keeper is excited to keep you back to her newly renovated cantina and can't wait for you to see it. So that's just pretty much tutorial stuff. Now, future updates. They want to talk about changes coming to the error system, and there's a lot of changes coming. A lot of good changes, which I'm very happy for, and then some that are very concerning. We'll talk about it. So they're talking about how we saw the feedback, and we knew how to make adjustments to the rewards and the milestone cadence. So what they ended up doing is the economy change is they're adding 4 freely accessible error levels to all players, giving you more room to grow. Characters that reach the highest error level of 135 will convert to Relic 8 at the end of the era. So this is very high. I mean, here's what I'm worried about. That's going to be expensive. So what is it going to cost to bring a character to 7-star and then error level 135? Is it going to be an additional $30 to $40 from what it is right now? Like, obviously, this is going to help newer players to the game that are going to be whaling and want to get the newer things without affecting previous farms. But I can totally see this being extremely paywalled and dangerous. I hope they're not locking legendary units behind error level 135. That's a concern of mine. Would not be a fan of that, so had to talk about that. 4 additional Coliseum tiers will accompany these new error levels. Please note that all players will still be able to reach Gear 12 for free with mode engagement. So pretty much what they're just saying, as long as you guys are actively participating in Coliseum, you're going to be getting Gear 12 with the newer characters. So you just practically got to play a battle every day and you're going to be fine. We are increasing the rewards across the era to help players grow their relic levels faster. At a high level, we're aiming to increase error currency inflow by at least 200% for all players. So I don't know if I'm reading this weird, but it says at a high level, we're aiming to increase error currency inflow by at least 200% for all players. So do they mean all players at a high level or just all players in general? I'm hoping it's all players in general. Maybe you guys can understand that a little bit better than me, but if it's for all players, then good. That's a lot. This is massive. I'm a big fan of this next one. Accompanying this increase, we are reducing the price of Tier 4 Lightspeed tokens from 5,000 error currency to 3,500. That is freaking amazing. That's a lot more relic characters for your disposal. It's getting significantly dropped in price. That is huge. Huge, huge, huge for my free-to-play account. I think I'll be able to catch up way faster now with that adjustment. So that's a huge positive change. Now over here, they're talking about the full spend difference between the old inflow and the new one. Approximately plus 204%. Episode pass purchasers are going to see approximately 419% increase, or 419% in total. And free-to-play high engagement will be 344%. So I like how they're showing the numbers. Big numbers guy. For this era, we are introducing some new and updated store offers. There is a new offer containing both character shards and era level materials to provide another avenue for kickstarting progress. So, as a content creator, this is probably really good for me because I can now have access to a different type of pack where I'm also getting the shards and the era level currency, where I could be able to provide more testing and tutorials of Coliseum and the newer characters. Don't know if it's going to be cheaper. I don't know if it's going to be a part of the $30 marquee pack. Maybe they want more players to get, or community members to get that one. I don't know for sure. They could increase the price. I could totally see them bumping up from 30 to 50 to get 30 shards and era level materials and just combining it, which would really suck. Not giving them any ideas, but I wouldn't be surprised. Era level material bundles have now been updated to reflect the new era levels. Era level material bundles will roll out over time rather than being available all at once in an effort to preserve progression pacing while still providing a competitive advantage. So just practically talking about the new era economy for era currency. Now next up, loaned units. Kind of saw it coming. With the upcoming title update, we're excited to introduce loan units, which we mentioned in our last update. Starting this era, loan units will replace the summon units in the Coliseum. We're going to have to see how this goes. Loan units are available to all players during their respective era and can only be used in era modes. They go away at the end of the era, making room for different loaned units to arrive at the start of the next era. How do we upgrade loaned units? All of your loan units have the same era level, and they can't be upgraded directly. Instead, they are upgraded whenever you receive a loaned unit era level increase token. That's a long tongue twister, which is automatically consumed to level all of your loan units by 1. For this first era, they will be provided primarily via daily inbox messages to make sure those who show up later in the era can still claim them and aren't permanently behind. Alright, that's kind of chill. For future eras, we are looking into ways to improve clarity and the user flow for obtaining the unit era increase tokens. So, we're going to be given these tokens to utilize these loaned units, which is kind of interesting. We're going to have to see how it goes, and is it going to be monetized? To use loan units, you can select them from the roster during pre-battle unit selection. You must bring in at least one era unit. However, you can't enter battle with a squad of only loaned units. Loaned units will create opportunities for you to theorycraft, strategize within era content, setting the stage for more exciting updates coming later this year. So, more Coliseum stuff? More era content? Oh boy, okay. When loan units arrive, we will be providing you with enough units to allow for multiple factions and squads to theorycraft some interesting composition. We're looking forward to seeing what you all come up with. So, this is actually a huge plus. These are going to be examples of the loaned units. So, looking like Imperial Remnant and Mando content. Hawk Cartel. Maybe Pirates? No, no Pirates, but Rebels, Phoenix, Imperial Remnant, Imperial Troopers. Those look to be the loan units, so we all know what's coming next. We all knew it. For reference, here are the New Republic era units. So, this is cool. This is the new era. I predicted it. We all knew it was happening. It was obvious. New Republic, Mandoverse stuff. Captain Carson Teva, the Rebel pilot, will be coming R5D4. That's obviously a droid. Snowtrooper Commander, Zeb, new version of Zeb, New Republic pilot. I guess that's his character's name. And 3 new characters. Stay tuned for exciting details on these new characters. By the way, really happy that they did that. Not gonna lie. There's something exciting about not knowing what's coming. So this was a very smart way to do it. I love how they're doing this compared to the other eras. Give us a little sneak peek of the characters to come, but also have us predict what could be coming next. If I had to guess, it's going to be something from the Mando movie. Road to the Hutt, new version of Mando, and then maybe a character we don't know yet. We're going to have to see. But maybe a new Embo. That's pretty cool. I like how they did that. I got to give them credit. Keep us engaged and excited and not knowing what's coming next. This is the one thing that I did read that I had to read over multiple times because I'm a little concerned about it. Now let's talk about the next features coming to in the future. Overcharge and Era Arena. From the way I read this, I'm going to read it with you guys. This seems to be mods for your Era units in Coliseum. So, I'm a little concerned about this. They start with mods have been the way to distinguish your character from someone else's. And while the depth and breadth of the system is great for the long-term collection and variety, it isn't well suited to the 12-week time frame of the standard era. Yet we recognize the stat differentiation is critical for the way you play and craft your characters. The new Overcharge system will seek to fill that role while reducing complexity and eliminating randomness. You will be able to modify the stats of both era units and lone units in a controlled manner, helping you craft unique squads. We want to make sure this is as frictionless as possible, so you will also be able to shift your stat distribution around at will at no cost so you can experiment and discover new strategies freely. There's going to be a pay-to-wait version of this. There's just simply no way. When it comes to the resources needed to participate in the Overcharge system, a majority of the resources will be earned through your normal gameplay. Just want to really make a strong emphasis on this word. Majority of the resources, not all, a majority. So, will we see a locked pack of resources to help you increase your Overcharge stats? Maybe. We don't know for sure, but the word majority is a key hint to what I'm thinking. We want everyone to have ample opportunities to make their era units and lone units distinctly theirs. I don't know. I don't think anyone was asking for mods within the era. I think people wanted to add mods to the characters so that we could not have our mod cap, waiting for when these era units were finally back into the legacy system and for Grand Arena and TW, that we could just apply the mods early. I don't think we wanted to have a whole separate modding system to compete with others now to get a higher score. Not a big fan of this Overcharge thing, but it's still early. I want to, just wait and see, but maybe it creates some theory crafting. We'll find out. Now, we kind of saw this was coming too. Didn't think it was going to happen right away, but here it is. Era Arena. Practically PvP for era units. It's called Era Arena. This is the place to test ideas and try fresh and experimental setups. It all begins with the faction tag sharing. Era units will share select faction tags with the other units you bring with them, which will help open up the options for teams to bring in. There will not be a score cap, so you push your squads as far as you can while you experiment. Working together with lone units and Overcharge, you will have plenty of room to theory craft something unique and compare results with others. We look forward to seeing what you come up with. So, it's going to tie into lone units. It's going to tie into Overcharge. More money. Era Arena will also provide you with an opportunity to battle others in your Era Shard. You'll earn banners based on your best Era Arena battle of the day, and those banners will determine your ranking on the leaderboard. I think Capital Games thinks we care about the Era leaderboards. I promise you, I don't think I've looked at it a single time while doing Coliseum. I just care to see what my number is. I'm not competing with anybody else. I don't look at, I just want to see if I'm in the top 100 or top 80. I don't ever go individually to see who is where. So, it's not like I'm fighting for that, but maybe it makes it interesting in the PvP aspect. To make sure things remain fresh, Era Shards will reset each era. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, it's finally here. With the introduction of Era Arena, we will be retiring Squad Arena and refreshing your quest to make way for the most requested feature in this history's game. And I knew immediately when I was reading this what it was going to be. The addition you've been screaming for is finally here. Training mode has officially arrived. So, Sandbox mode. It's a Sandbox mode, but there are caveats to it. We'll talk about it. We understand Squad Arena has long been a place for testing new characters and datacrons in order to understand how things work. And we want to make sure you still have the ability to learn and practice. To address this, we will be replacing Squad Arena with the new training mode. This new mode will be accessible in the squad management section of your inventory, allowing you to battle against any squad you can build from your own roster. This is what I have so many thoughts about this, but I guess I'll read everything first before I do. At its release, it will follow these standard battle rules. Only characters you own can be used. Only one Galactic Legend per side. You will be able to use the same characters on both offense and defense. The current state of the unit's gear, relics, abilities, and mods is used on both offense and defense. Omicrons will not be present. Similar to current Squad Arena, and Datacrons will be usable on offense, but not on defense at this time. Additionally, these battles will not progress any quest, feats, or account stats. I have many thoughts and many problems with this. As happy as I am for a sandbox mode, I feel like what they're doing is hurting it. And I'll explain why. As much as players don't want to admit this, Datacrons are a major part of this game, and there is simply not a lot of testing without Datacrons. Obviously, we can get a somewhat of an understanding without them, but for the most part, Datacrons run the meta and everything. Everything's based off of Datacrons. So that makes things interesting. The next thing is that I would do Squad Arena testing against players that were a lot more whaley than me, that had a lot more stuff than my own inventory, that I would love to test against and try. People like Baby Yoda, who's a top 10 player in this game, has full Relic 10 rosters, the latest and greatest new Datacrons. I will not be able to do that anymore because I have to now use my own roster to test things. So I might not have a Relic 10 Maul right away. I might not have a Relic 10 Cassian squad. I cannot test against a Relic 10 Cassian or a higher gear or Relic Datacron opponent because it's now restricted to my own roster, which kind of stinks. Now, I'm trying to be positive. Obviously, we all wanted a sandbox mode, and it's great. I don't like that they're getting rid of Squad Arena to replace it with, because obviously Squad Arena is a dead game mode, but it was a great way to test things, especially on day one releases like Conquest characters. I would always go in with like Satil or Stranger, and it was really fun engagement to see what they could do against top-of-the-line teams with different Datacrons and top-of-the-meta stuff to see how they were going to work in the current meta. That is now over. That is gone. Because number one, you can't put defensive Datacrons now. If you go in on an offensive run with a offensive Datacron against a non-Datacron team, that's not really testing much. So you might as well not use a Datacron. Omicrons, I understand. It wasn't always a thing like that, so I totally get that. But I know a lot of players are happy about this sandbox mode, but I want to express my concerns about how it's going to affect actual testing. You need to have all the characters and relics at your roster. The Datacrons cannot be used on defense, and it's just kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying. It's definitely going to affect my testing because I'm not on both my accounts do I whale hardcore on characters. I don't really whale at all, to be honest with you. But I will not be able to test against players that were willing to try and put in different things for me with different Datacrons. That's going to change going forward. So I do hope that Capital Games includes defensive Datacron testing, and I kind of wish they weren't getting rid of Squad Arena because that was a great mode to help test against other players and coordinate like that. But hey, we're getting a sandbox mode. That's a positive. I just have some concerns that I wanted to talk about right here. So I know that took a little bit of time, but it was just very important for me. Now, to continue on, the future. To wrap up this update, we want to talk about where we're heading next. We've seen concerns about our recent focus on error means we're moving away from the rest of the game. That's not our intent. Errors are designed to build on top of Galaxy of Heroes, not replace the modes and system you've invested in for years. Grand Arena Championships, Conquest, TW, territory battles, and raids remain core to the game, and they will continue to evolve alongside eras. Over the past several updates, we've focused heavily on building out the era system. As we look ahead, a key part of our roadmap is continuing to improve and modernize legacy systems across the board or across the game. At the same time, We're also investing in new ways for players to engage with Galaxy of Heroes, including how you experiment, express your roster, and connect with others around the game. We've already seen early steps in this direction with features like Training Mode and Era Arena, which open up more opportunities to theorycraft, test ideas, and push your squads in new ways. This is an area we're excited to keep building on. Alongside that, we'll continue to improve core systems like fleets, GAC, territory battles, territory wars, while also focusing on overall quality of life, where we see opportunities to deliver a more modern, strategic, and connected experience, which is important. Those game modes all need help. Like, territory battles hasn't seen an update since Mandalore. Territory war, I don't think it's been updated in over 5 or something years like that. And fleets, I think the Leviathan meta has been almost 3 or 4 years. Like, that's a crazy long meta. I don't count the whole Scimitar change as a different meta. It's still the same fleet. So, ships definitely need to talk about. So, what they talk about right here. Let's talk about fleets for a second. Ships are a huge part of Star Wars, and we don't think the current fleet experience fully lives up to that. Our goal is to make fleets feel like a more rewarding and strategic part of your overall progression, not something separate or left behind. As you begin exploring here, we're targeting a few key improvements. Stronger connection to the rest of the game, as your investment in ships feel more impactful across multiple modes. More strategic depth and decision making, both in how you build your fleet and how battles play out. Clearer choices and counterplay, so outcomes feel driven by planning and execution, not just matchups. These are large foundational systems, and meaningful updates will take time, but this work is an important part of how we're evolving Galaxy of Heroes for the long term. So, they have an eye on ships. I don't know what that means or what's coming next. Are they going to remove crystals from fleet? I don't know. Are they going to tie fleet into arrow system modes? Maybe. So, our goal is simple: to keep improving the modes you play every day while creating new ways to play, connect, and express yourself in the game. We'll share more details as our plans take shape. For now, we want you to know that your feedback is being heard and is directly shaping what comes next. So, see you on the table, Holo Table. See you on the Holo Table SWGOH team. So that's pretty much everything from the first post that they talked about, and obviously, there's a lot to digest there. I already expressed my concerns for the training mode and what it's going to affect with testing. I know a lot of TW guilds are going to be either happy or upset about this, because the Datacron testing was important, but now that there won't be other guilds seeing what other guilds are testing on kind of thing, so there's pros and cons. So that's the whole training droid thing. Another concern of mine that I have is time in game. We're now going to be having another game mode put in, but nothing else was alleviated in the process. So we have Coliseum, and now we have Era Arena, and now we have to worry about a new Overcharge mechanic and lone units. It requires more time and more thinking. And as much, I love this game. This game is great. I love being in game, but there has to be a limit to what we have to do. So I know they talked about when Coliseum was first released about potential time in game being too high. I'm getting a little concerned with the time in game being a little too high with the combination of Conquest, TB, Raids, Grand Arena, farming nodes, Coliseum, Era events, everything. The time in game is increasing. And as a content creator, I have 3 accounts. And that's going to say, like, Vex, that's a you problem. I totally get it. The 3 accounts can be a lot. But I've heard from many players saying that even 1 account is hard to manage. So I hope they're taking into consideration time in game, because they didn't mention it in this post at all. More time is coming in game. Other game modes are not alleviating the strain. So Relic Delta really didn't do much for TB. I still think it's a very grindy game mode, but we're going to have to see how this settles and where this plays out for the long-term health of the game. So that's going to be the first post. There's a second post, and it's pretty much talking about the visuals and pretty much explaining what we just talked about now. So I am going to show you. This is going to be a screenshot of the brand new Cantina. So obviously we have new stuff here. The shipments are up here. The store, the arena table is over here. We have campaigns. Obviously Coliseum and the marquee event is staying the same, but that's pretty much what we're working with here in terms of that. And over here they're talking about the updated pictures that we saw in the data mines, visual navigation updates. So this is pretty self-explanatory, not much about this. Now they're talking about the Cantina table updates, the Coliseum and marquee visually updated but functionally the same. Arena table now provides top level info about your squad / fleet arena ranks in your current GAC round. Guilds New table gives direct access to guild info and management tools in a redesigned UI. That's cool. Raids. New table with direct access and top-level information about your guild's active raid. Guild events. New table with direct access and top-level information about your guild's active territory battle or war. Campaigns. Now includes all campaigns, including fleet and mod campaigns, which is nice. It's all consolidated. That's kind of cool. Events. Now shows active event cards at the top level. Includes a new challenge tab as the new home of challenges and ships challenges. Events now unlock at level 15, reduced from level 20. Basic training events have had their unlock level shifted down to fill the new space. Okay, so pretty much talking about all the new locations for the stuff. There's more. Galactic Battles now has top-level information about your current runs in Conquest and Galactic War. Scavenger, visual update but functionally the same. The Jawa running the table has revealed that his name is Relic. Okay, that's cool. Access to shipments in the store remain at the top bar. So, that's practically all the same. Campaign restructuring. This is kind of cool. I'm a big fan of this. They talked about it in the other post. This is what it's looking like a little bit. They obviously changing. These look like newer characters to me. So, kind of cool. Kind of cool. They're making it a little bit more thematic. Like it. Light Side and Dark Side Cantina mod campaigns have had a complete content overhaul. Now represent specific moments in Star Wars stories you love and know, or you know and love. With a few new faces among the enemies you'll face, these changes will go live one day after the Cantina update. Structural and reward changes. Reduced encounters per battle. Most now have just one encounter, though each tier has 1 to 2 battles with a second boss encounter. That's kind of cool. A second boss encounter. 7 new battles added to each of the Light Side and Dark Side Hard campaigns distributed across tiers 6 through 9. So we're getting an extra hard tier. So it's probably for the influx of newer characters coming. They need more space to put these characters down on the holo table. So it's probably why they're doing it. Cantina battles have a new 9th tier of 7 additional battles, including first-time rewards of Zetas and Omicron materials. Omicron drops moved from tier 8 battles to tier 9. 0.75% drop rate increased from 0.5% in tier 8. Tier 9 battles cost 20 energy, up from 16, for a slight increase in drop rate per energy. So that's kind of cool. Tier 8 nodes that previously dropped Omicron materials now drop Zeta materials instead. 1% drop rate, double the prior Omicron rate there. So you're more than likely to get a Zeta than you were to get an Omicron previously. And this is what it's going to look like. So over here, you're going to see Zeta, first time, 10 Omicrons. That's pretty nice. And Hermit Yoda with Chirotech. That's another way of farming Chirotech. So, okay. And obviously here we're seeing the signal datas all over. We have Wampa. Pretty interesting stuff. Now, they're talking about different stuff with the mod battles. Mod battles cut down from 9 tiers to 2. There's only 2 for mod battles. And this is the same thing that we're talking about earlier. Tier 1 consists of the same rewards as Tier 3 mods, but we still require 10 mod energy per battle, compared to 16 for mod challenges. Tier 2 is identical to the previous Tier 9, rewarding mod slicing materials, but now unlocks earlier at player level 60. Mod challenges will continue to be available in the Challenges tab of the Events table until the campaign changes go live, at which point mod challenges will be permanently removed from the game, with quests requiring completion of these challenges will be updated or removed. Interesting stuff. Now over here, this is kind of cool. They're talking about the different stories within the campaigns that they're going to be discussing. So the light and dark side are based off the movies, episode 1 through 9. So you're going to see Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, New Hope, all of it. Kind of cool. I think that's an awesome change. We are here for Star Wars, right? We all love Star Wars, so it's awesome to see that this is a thing. Light Side and Dark Side hard battles, we have the shows, Clone Wars, Bad Batch Rebels, Andor, Rogue One, Legends, and Ahsoka. That's pretty freaking cool. Cantina, same thing. We have Fallen Order. We have the game on Tier 1. We have Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Dr. Aphra, Mando, Book of Boba Fett, and Legends. And then look at this, Battlefront and Acolyte. We have one Acolyte character. Who else from the Acolyte could they possibly put down? We're going to see Plagueis? Or is it just going to be five Chimeras? Or will it be the Witches? Maybe the Witches. Power of many. Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Jedi, and Skeleton Crew. Very cool. I'm a big fan. Now, farming and economy changes. There's a lot to talk about. I hope you guys almost done with your coffee yet? Because I haven't even really started. Farming and economy changes. With a total of 21 new campaign missions, a number of units have had their sources for shard farmings shifted around. Also, a few characters are now farmable for the first time. Now, you're going to see here, lots of changes. A lot of moving around. When I was looking, there was one in particular that really made me, like, thank God they did it. They're practically combining, like, the pilots and the fleets together. So you're going to see here, I'm not going to read every single one, but all of this is moving around their farming spot. The one thing that's huge for me is right here. Kylo Ren's command shuttle moved from Lightside 9A, joining Kylo Ren. So he's going to now Cantina 4C. So that's going to drastically increase that ship's farm. Kylo's going to be way easier to get as a Galactic Legend now. That is massive, 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 massive. But you're going to see here, also, Darth Vader Dual Zen. He's in a dark side node. So another 100 energy dark side node. Very, very annoying. So getting Spider Maul is going to be extremely hard. But I kind of saw it coming. They're making Spider Maul extremely hard to get. All that energy is expensive. It takes a lot. And you can't just farm all those characters at one time. So that's another thing. Darth Vader Dual Zen is officially going to be farmable in the game. Dark Side 9F. It's going to be 100 energy. Or what is it? 100 or 120. It's expensive. Very, very expensive. And then over here, we talked about Wampa, Grievous, Yoda. Great stuff. Also, I'm frustrated because I'm like 8 shards away from finishing this on my free-to-play account. Another big one. Added Biston's U-Wing to Fleet Hard 3B, replacing TIE Defender, joining Temple Guard. What a joke that this took this long. Do you know how long it's taken me to farm this ship? 6 months. 6 to 7 months of looking at the Fleet Arena store almost every day, 3 days a week to get Biston's U-Wing. And now they're adding it to Fleet 3B. That should have been a thing 7 years ago, whenever it was released. This is absolutely infuriating, but that's my own personal problem. I'm not kidding. 6 to 7 months to get Biston's U-Wing. The RNG on finding that ship is ridiculous in the Fleet store. Thank God it's in a farmable node now. Little rant over. So, I'm probably not the only one that feels that way, by the way. Let me know if you guys think that farm was very, very difficult, but here we are. It's farmable. Now, more economy changes. We talked about this in a previous post that I listed. The new economy for Omega battles. We're getting new rewards for them. 20 Mark III ability materials, 10 Omegas, and 3 Zeta mats. Very good. Drastically helps the Zeta crunch because the Zeta crunch is extremely real and annoying for early game and even late game. My other endgame account that I dropped was having a Zeta problem, and I played that for a very long time. So this is huge. Credits and ship materials are no longer required to promote. We talked about that. They talked about the Cantina shipment currency. From Mark 1 and Mark 2 character ability materials have had the quantities of materials they provided increased from 1 to 50. The costs remain the same, so that's cool. The cap for micro attenuators has increased from 300 to 1,000. Very good, because Pirate King Hono's event was really making me look for a character's mod that I needed to upgrade for like 150, so this is nice. Updates to drop rates that will go live with the campaign content update. Training droids now drop in higher quantities and greater quantities in all campaign missions, as well as training droids, smuggling, and Galactic War rewards. Ship enhancement droids now drop in higher qualities and greater quantities in all campaign missions that previously dropped them. Mark 1, 2, and 3 character ability materials now drop at a higher rate and quantities across all campaign missions than previously dropped, as well as Galactic War rewards. So practically said the same thing 3 times. But yeah, just changing stuff around. Now, this, not going to go over it again. They're talking about the restructuring of the journey guide. We've talked about this many times. They practically just made different tiers for the journey guide of what you recommend. I wish they were talking about additional journey quests that were coming out, but not yet. Not yet. I was speculating that there would be. It's probably going to be when the previous ones expire. Now they're talking about the early game experience, how it's changing. Talking about, many different things. Error unit inventory no longer appears before at player level 20 when Coliseum unlocks. New tutorial art, new characters for like the home screen, the holo tables. Now, quality of life change. This is kind of nice because this was getting kind of annoying for a lot of players, and I'm sure everyone that's watching has had a post or an alert or message box saying your mod energy is full and you have this inbox. You can now sell mods directly when you see the home screen or you see them in your pop-up. Mods can now be sold directly from a reward dialog. Tap and click a mod in the reward screen to bring up its details, which now include an option to sell it. The button to collapse and expand status effects display now appears in combat by default. And the option to show the button has been removed from the settings. Oh, interesting. That's pretty cool. Is now, I think I missed this earlier. The button to collapse and expand status effects displays now appear in combat by default. And the option to show the button has been removed. Oh, okay. I see what they're saying. Guild reward crates and raids now have a more descriptive name. Cool. Fleet Battle 5e normal difficulty significantly reduced to better match surrounding battles. I kind of do remember that being a total pain in the butt back in the day, so that's also pretty nice to have. What a long post to talk about, but we got one more thing. One more thing we got to discuss, and it's the kits to the New Republic. I'm not going to go over all of it, guys, because we're going to be here for another hour. But practically, want to go over the main important stuff and potential what could be coming next, if you know what I mean. So here's the thing. We have a New Republic tag. This is the droid. And they're saying there's 3 other characters they're not revealing yet. So, if you guys want me to talk about the character kits in another video, I absolutely have no problem doing that. For this one, I just want to talk specifically about the update and a more of a broad thing about what is coming. R5-D4, we talked about it earlier. He's got a bunch of different abilities. Then the second one is going to be Zeb. He's going to be a tank for the New Republic. So he's part of that team. Very, very cool. Then the third character, did I pass them yet? Nope, we're still on Zeb. Carson Teva, he's going to be an attacker, constable, New Republic, and rebel. So, wondering where he's going to be. I'm going to read all of this eventually, but not today. This one's going to be a little too long. And then we're coming up. We have Snowtrooper Commander. He's a leader, tank, Empire, Imperial Trooper, Imperial Remnant. This kind of makes me think something's coming along the way, down the line. I'm open. I don't know, guys. We're gonna see. Let me finish the rest of the of this post, but I haven't read any of this. This is way too long to read. But he is a leader. There's a lot going on. I think that's everything. I think we're getting Galactic Legend Thrawn one day. More Imperial Remnant coming to the game. I think Thrawn might be the Galactic Legend. We might get a Mando GL and a Thrawn GL for Imperial Remnant. I think with the additional units like this, maybe. And we might get a Mando that's not a... We might get a Mando and Grogu character who's not a Galactic Legend for the Mandalorian faction, but a Galactic Legend for the New Republic. That's what I'm thinking now. Or a Galactic Legend Constable. So, I want to know what you guys think about that, because that's where my head's going. Galactic Legend Mando and Grogu for either a New Republic or Constable faction, or, without a doubt, Galactic Legend Thrawn for a Imperial Remnant Galactic Legend leader. So, that might not happen until Ahsoka Season 2, or until that big Mandoverse movie with Thrawn, if that's still even happening. I don't know if it is, but let me know what you guys think about this all down below. Are you guys, first of all, are any of you concerned about the new Era Arena PvP? Because I'm a big PvP guy. Grand Arena is the heart and soul of this game. I'm concerned about that mode. I'm concerned about Overcharge. I have thoughts about the Sandbox mode. I want to know if you guys think I'm being overcritical about the Sandbox mode, or are my thoughts justified? I think I explained it perfectly well previously, so leave your feedback down below. Are you guys excited about the extra challenges, for the extra campaign battles, and all those adjustments to the farming and stuff like that? Are you guys into the new era, and are you excited for this character? So please, please, please do not be shy. Comment in the comment section down below to let me know how you guys feel. Leave a like on the video to get this out to many different audiences. It's very helpful. And the most important, to subscribe to my channel, Vexatron, the boy Vex, because we are on the road to 10K subs, guys. We are close to getting there. I would really appreciate all the support. So thank you guys for staying with me during this very long recap of the update. Didn't finish my coffee, but It's damn good. A nice espresso, cappuccino kind of thing. Very delicious. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Good, good stuff at work. Enjoy Galaxy of Heroes. We got a Grand Arena coming up, so may the force be with you all, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.